That is
Look at what
phenomenal.
Draymond has done to impact this series. Paint points more than anybody else in the series. Assists more than anybody else. Assist opportunities, rebounds, defending field goal attempts, blocks, steals. Draymond, as you mentioned, was not an all-star this year. Averaged 7 points. It seemed like his career, not just this season, it seemed like his career was on the decline as his contract was coming to an end. But remove Boogie Cousins from the equation, remove KD from the equation, and look what happens to Draymond Green. I've been so impressed with his play. And it's not just the stuff that shows up in the stat sheets, it shows up on the full screen. When he gets the ball, he just goes straight for the hoop as fast as he can, and it always works out for him. He's been so impressive in this series that I almost there's a part of me that wants to see them play in the finals without Kevin Durant. What did you think of Draymond briefly from this series?
Well, there was another change that we didn't mention that happened with Draymond Green, and it was from the neck up. If you notice, he's not getting technical fouls and taking himself out of 2 or 3 plays at a time before he recovers. He's not emotionally intoxicated to the point where he's getting into it with the opponent. You know why? The Portland Trail Blazers don't have nobody up front to really get in his way anyway. So now all of a sudden you see Mo Harkless, you see Collins, and shout to Myers Leonard. I always joke and call him a 7-foot Justin Bieber because he looks like him. However, he made a name for himself and shown that he can play quality minutes for the Portland Trail Blazers. But when Draymond see those guys, he ain't intimidated at all, okay? None of those guys are gonna get him frustrated. None of those guys are gonna get him in foul trouble. So therefore, not only does he have room to operate based on the guys that we say aren't available to the Warriors, this was a prime opponent to highlight the greatness of Draymond Green as well.
So this Warriors team is now going to the NBA Finals for the 5th straight year. We all know LeBron had a run, but he did it with 2 different teams. This is 5 straight years. This is the first time that any team has done that since conferences existed in the NBA. We all know the Celtics did their thing a long time ago. But let's just take a look at just their dominance put into numbers. Because look at that. This is the highest win percentage in a 5-year span in postseason history. This is just playoff dominance. The Warriors more than the Bulls, then the Warriors, then the Bulls, and then you have that Lakers team. But Jalen, to put it in perspective, this Warriors team has won more playoff games at a clip than anybody in the history of the NBA in a 5-year span. What do you think of this run, primarily fueled by Steph Curry and Draymond Green?
Well, I think what the mid-90s Bulls would say, don't mean a thing if you don't get that ring. And the beauty about this year's Golden State Warriors is we can continue to laud their greatness, and they really deserve it. But they won't win the championship this season without Kevin Durant. So let's keep that same energy.
Oh, wait, what'd you say?
Let's keep that same energy when all of a sudden they have to go against the Greek freak up front. He's not going to be settling for threes the entire game and getting 30 and 10 rebounds like Myers Leonard did. He's going to be going to the basket, carrying people with him, getting layups, getting dunks, getting and ones, and forcing people to be upset at the officials. So I want to see how that dynamic plays out. I said this about Joel Embiid. He had a certain level of energy when he played against the Nets. And I said the next series, it's going to look and sound a lot different. I want to see how these Golden State Warriors would perform, especially if KD's not playing. I hope Boogie comes back, and I talked to him, and he told me that he plans on coming back. But if KD does not return, I do not believe the Golden State Warriors win the championship this season.